This is a story about a game like no other. I have come across all varieties of games in the past. AAA games that redefine genres, shitty games that gathered hype of entire nations, being made only to let people down, the games that make you cry with their story, the games that make you stare in awe at the graphics wondering how they were able to create such a work of visual art. But today, I will be talking about something much, much more. A storm of some sorts, a tsunami, a fucking enigma, because this is the story of Club Penguin. Club Penguin was the brainchild of Lance Priebe, Lane Merrifield, and Dave Crisco, a 2D Flash-based virtual island filled with minigames and penguins. It was released on October 24th, 2005. Before this, Lance was a game designer for Rocket Snail Games, and made 3 other penguin-based games called Experimental Penguins, Penguin Chat, and Penguin Chat 2. But these people had much bigger dreams, so after talking to their boss, they decided to quit and create New Horizon Interactive, and ended up developing and publishing Club Penguin. The whole game was centered around being a fun and safe place for kids to virtually hang out, so there weren't any advertisements on their website. They made all of their money off this game through a $5.95 subscription that allowed access to various clothing items, among other features. To some kids, their penguin meant the fucking world to them. Here's a picture of a regular run-of-the-mill standard penguin. And here are some of the Club Penguin subscribers. Yeah, you can notice that there's a slight difference that the kids might pick up on. The team worked day in and day out on this thing, financing the project with their credit cards to stay afloat. But they did much more than float. They built a rocket ship, and in just a few short months, Club Penguin managed to gain a community of over 1 million registered accounts. This penguin-based children's game was gathering an exponentially larger player base with supposedly zero marketing. Let me give you a challenge. Post something on the internet, a game, a video, a picture, anything. You can do anything. Try your absolute best to get 10,000 people to look at it. And once that happens, close the tab and come back 6 months later. Now, if the thing you posted has over 1 million views, I'll plant a tree in your honor. And I'm not saying that's what Lance and the gang actually did, but the raw amount of Club Penguin's player base is nothing short of incredible. I mean, look at these numbers. 200 million. That's the last publicly stated amount of registered members in 2013. 4 whole years before this video. That's Canada and Germany combined, then multiplied by 3 plus 7 Jamaicas. If this game was a country, it would be the 6th largest country in the world. That's bananas. But the even bigger number is $350 million, which is what Club Penguin sold for just 2 years after release in 2007 to none other than Disney. And get this, that was half of the price it was valued at. Now, being that Club Penguin was for kids, there was also a chat filter system. You couldn't say shit. And with this chat filter came a ruthless overlord robot moderator furiously swinging its ban hammer and throwing out 24-hour suspensions instantly. There was a speedrunning community for Club Penguin, and in the rules, you have to start the timer before you make your account, because after the game loads you in, it's possible to get banned in just milliseconds. And there's no doubt that this contributed greatly to the massive number of registered accounts later in Club Penguin's life. For fun, let's pull up the Club Penguin subreddit. Now here's the ban from Club Penguin subreddit. You notice a difference? This game got out of hand. It eventually became something else entirely from what the original intention was. After Disney took over, they used the game as a marketing tool to make custom outfits and sponsored parties for various other content they owned. But the player base also changed. And yeah, sure, there were still kids asking, I'm sure very politely, for their parents to let them get a subscription, but over 90% of the player base were free users. And you guessed it, a little older than the original 6 to 14 age group. This was because people started making Club Penguin memes. A fucking invasion of Club Penguin memes. And all of a sudden, this game became trendy again, regaining some of the community it lost over the years, for about 5 minutes until they got banned or decided to move on with their day. When you get right down to the root of what Club Penguin was, you see that it was a blank slate. It was just little flightless cartoon birds that you, the player, gave life and personality to. It gave you the ability to do all sorts of fun activities, like collecting rare badges, or you could go to the amusement park, and maybe even start your first awkward online relationship where you don't really know if the penguin's a boy or a girl, but you're pretty sure they're not lying. But most importantly, you were able to find friends. And once you find friends, you could do all sorts of other stuff, like go to parties, because there were a bunch of parties every year, plus an annual fair. And then after that, you could all stand on one side of the iceberg and attempt to tip it over. By the way, so many people did this that after 10 years of of trying, they actually did it. There was a patch allowing you to actually tip the iceberg, debunking all the theories before it on how to do it. And yes, there were Club Penguin iceberg conspiracy theorists. I promise you the developers did not see that coming. I also bet they were shocked when their game was used as a social platform to hold a fucking anti-Trump rally, because you know, when I talk politics, Club Penguin is always part of the conversation. Alright though, it's time to talk about the end, and I'm gonna try not to get emotional, even though Club Penguin did exceed all expectations for a decade and still had over 5 million visitors per year. There ended up being a steady decline in player base. And because Disney is debatedly one of the largest companies in the world, they decided to make an announcement that Club Penguin would be shut down March of 2017. And holy shit, people were devastated. A whole new type of Club Penguin meme was made, and people considered the shutdown of Club Penguin the death of their childhood. But this game wasn't about cynicism or anger. This game was about hanging out with your friends and having a good time. So the developers did what they do best. They held a massive going away party starting February 1st until shutdown. Now, just because the original Club Penguin is no longer up doesn't mean that you're completely devoid of your penguin-based social games, because Disney is working on their new project, Club Penguin Island. Plus, there's also a private server called Club Penguin Rewritten. And here's a bonus tidbit I found while doing my research. There's an old thread of somebody saying that Club Penguin would shut down before the 12-year mark, and it did. But that's not the interesting part. If you scroll further down in the thread, someone else said that the community would make a Club Penguin Rewritten, and this thread is years before learning of the actual real shutdown. But anyway, for those of you that stuck around through the whole video, thank you very much for listening. And if you enjoy listening to me talk about Club Penguin, please hit the like button or just send me a nice comment, preferably one that compliments my voice. And if you want to hear more about various shutdown games, please hit the subscribe button. And if you want to chat with me personally, either through text or voice chat, feel free to join the Daily Quest Discord channel. Peace out and waddle on.